Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral, and here I'm going to do a how-to on how I did the foiling on the Dodge letters here on the hood because I need to redo this hood, and it works as well as I did on this Challenger emblem on the side. I haven't done a how-to on how to actually do this, and I just did it on this one. But since this Vanishing Point Challenger, I'm going to replace the hood as I got another one because I left the hood pins on it, and the Vanishing Point Challenger doesn't have those on it in the actual movie. And I missed that, but no big deal. But gives me the opportunity to show you how I put the foil behind the paint there and polished it through so you can see it like that. It comes out really nice. So here's the new hood. I already did the how-to on how I filled the hole in there. And this is all primed and pretty much ready to go. So next step is putting the foil on it. So here's it. In case you're wondering, if you saw my other video, I did do another layer of this and smooth it out and got it ready. So this is ready for paint. So, but before I do that, I'll put some foil on it. So I got my bare metal foil here and my razor blade, and we'll get this trimmed here. Got a piece. All right, and we'll just get it laid on the hood here. I got a big enough piece, but I'll be trimming some of this off. But lightly rub down on it so I can see where the letters are and that it's where I want it to be. So I got enough coverage there. Then just start burnishing it down. And it's just a Q-tip here. And then I'll take a toothpick and make sure to push all around the letters here. This is just light pressure, just making sure it goes down. Don't want to tear the foil. But definitely want it in between all the letters. Make sure it's down in there because that's where the paint's going to be. And when you polish it, you'll just get the raised portions. All right, got it all pushed down, and one more time with this. And then next step is I like to trim it fairly close to the letters, but still is one piece. All right, that's well, I got a corner already pulling up here, so let's grab from there. There we go. Now, every now and then you'll get some residue, but now make sure that the foil that I want to stay stays here. And clean up any of the residue, glue residue. All right. So I'll take like a cotton cloth or something and use that to sometimes pick it up, help polish it, as you can see right there. Now the next step on this is to do the paint like you normally would. And so that'll be the next step. So there'll be a pause here while I do that, and then we'll get back to the actual polishing part. All right, well, here we are outside. I'm going to airbrush this hood, but I've already done one layer on the bottom side where I shot the bottom side. I'm ready to do the top, but so this is pretty much getting ready. So we'll get this taped down and ready for you guys. But a couple of things. This one, I'm using the Scale Finishes base coat, which I prefer to use base coat in this particular method, and airbrush, of course, because you have so much more control over what you're doing and what you're spraying. So you can make it much lighter, thinner coats, so you don't get a whole lot of paint on there, just enough to cover it, and polish what you need to do. So a pretty good couple of coats on here, and then I'll polish it, and then I'll clear coat it as the last step. But at this point, I just want to cover all of this, and I did the bottom first. I'm going to do the top next. And I do get asked quite a bit what I'm using, and I forget to mention it. This is my Grex Tritium TS side load with the 0.30 nozzle. That's what I use for airbrushing. I use it all the time, and I love it. It's a really good airbrush. But let's get this thing spraying, and we'll get moving here. So as I mentioned, we're going to do some light coats here. So first I'm going to spray off any kind of lint that's on here with just the air. And here we go. Alright, there's a light coat. Now it's time to do another light coat. And now get a heavy coat going here. All right, there we go. Just gonna airbrush it like normal, of course. Now I'm gonna let that dry, and I'll give it probably another light coat over it, but I'm gonna let this dry a little bit, and we'll keep moving on this. All right, guys, here's the last step. Here's the hood as I've shot the primer on it, paint on it, and got it ready for polishing. You can see a little bit of an outline of where the foil actually is, and you know, it's still kind of there, but the clear kind of hides it. So once it's clear coated, you can still see it, but you know, you do and you don't. So there's the differences right there, the before and after, but this will be nearly clear. So we'll get to this step here. So this is the last step of this part of it. So here we go. Let's move that. And you're going to need a microfiber polishing cloth or whatever. This is what I use many times. It's got some strings on it because it was a much bigger piece, and I cut it up into a smaller, much more manageable piece. And then you need some water. I've used this too, but wring it out. So anyway, and then the last part of it is I use this stuff, scratch and swirl remover, and I'll put a tiny, tiny, tiny little dot on there, like so. And we'll get it on there, and I'll slowly, I'll fold it too, and just start rubbing it back and forth. Just take your time, not a whole lot of pressure. Let the polishing compound do its own work. You just slowly keep doing it and keep doing it, and it'll start to come through, depending on how thick your paint is. Now, when you do a base coat, it'll go through it a lot faster because it's thinner layers with an airbrush, but thicker paints, they can take longer. But even if you burn through in spots, you can touch it back up, especially on base coat like this. You can touch it back up and keep working. But it just takes your time. So I'm going to feel this in my shoulder later because of reaching so far out and making sure it's under the camera. You see some of it's starting to come through. See a small amount of white on there. There we go. It's starting to break through. Just keep taking quick breaks and checking your work. Just wiped it off with my t-shirt there just to see. And we'll keep going. Sometimes I curl it back and use my fingernail. Just push with that. So it's like, still got the E. You see the black is from the foil as it starts to, this right here, that's probably from other emblems, but let's see. Let's go up here and start really focusing on the E itself. Try and stay on top of that. I'm trying to stay right on top of the E since that's the only one that's not really exposed yet. There we go. And I'm not pushing really hard, just got my fingernail holding the thing. Trying not to slip off so that my fingernail digs into the paint. All right. All right, there we go. Dry it off. And there we go. You can see it really polished the paint in that area too. But there's the Dodge letters. You can see the base coat is a little duller in spots, but that's where it got polished up a little bit. And that's all fine. When I clear coat over it, it's really good. I just make sure I wash it really good before I do that. But so this is pretty much ready. Just need to put the decals on the sides of the hood here. And then this will get clear coated. But that's looking really good. And you compare it to this one, which is the one I did previously. So after clear, before clear. Both done the exact same way. All right, let's put that one on here. So that's pretty much ready. And then here's a Viper. I did the same thing with, I put it underneath. And then this is Tester's British Green Metallic, which has the clear in it. But I'm still going to clear coat over this. But that's how that one came out. But here's like a before right there. You know, it's got the foil on it, but it's a pretty pronounced emblem. And on these Vipers, the emblem was also body color in chrome. So it's kind of neat how they molded it in. So all you got to do is get the paint on there and then start polishing it. So, you know, there's that one. But I got to sit there and polish this one up as well to get this one exposed. So, and it takes a little while, and this could wear out your elbow, as I just jokingly mentioned a little bit here, but just try not to push too hard and everything and mar the paint or any of that stuff. It's just a matter of taking your time, which is one of those easier said than done things, but the ones that stick out farther, the easier they are to do. So you can see this one's starting to come through already. Thankfully, there's only two on this one. And it's on a nice, easy, round spot, which makes it easier to get to. I will say, on this, because it's so close to the lip, I had my finger like that so that it pushed it up instead of curling it down, because it would wear the paint off of here if I did too and expose the edge. So I had my finger like that while I was pushing, you know, with my fingernail to get down so that it would get the emblem but not go down over the side. And that seemed to work. So we'll keep going on this one and finish this one up. And it's a matter of just keep checking your work. It's really starting to show on that one. I'm really liking how that's coming out, but just got to get in there a little more. Let's flip it over and do this side. This rag is, our polishing cloth is really soaked with this stuff. But let's put one more little dab on there. Put it over here. And you can see how much it just pulled off with the extra polishing compound. Here we go. All right, I think that's going to do it for this one. Get in the center just a little bit more. All right. Just wiped it with my cotton t-shirt just to get some of the extra off there to see what's going on. And then, you know, when I wash it, there's some little wax buildup in the seams, but I'll wash that out with a toothbrush because this is going to get a layer of clear. Even though it really doesn't need it, I'm still going to do it. But I like how that came out. So that came out nice, and then this one came out really nice. So those are looking good. And then also, here's a look at the cougar I was working on, doing the same thing. One side done, one side not done. Takes a little bit more effort and being very careful on exactly where you are when you're doing this stuff. Away from edges. I'm not worried about the marker light because that's going to get covered in bare metal foil and then detailed anyway. So if it rubs through, it does, but there's a script, but you can feel it with your fingernail, just being same thing, very careful, taking your time. I still got to do that side, but I got to try and be careful because I keep breaking this piece. You saw some other videos, I broke it stripping it, fixed it, broke it again, painting it, my last layer of paint, and I broke it again and glued it again. But this time the repair is a little bit visible, but I'm out of paint. So I was gonna, you know, do that again, but I don't have any more of this paint. And of course it's a discontinued Testors paint. So if I mess this thing up, which I used it on both of these cars, if I mess this thing up, I'll just strip and pick a different color or get a real similar color, but scale finishes or something. All right, guys. Well, that shows you how to do that and taking your time and getting it to pop and everything. So, you know, there you go. How it's done. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments and everything. I really do appreciate it, you guys. And you have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you next time.